Hello everyone, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense. Today is a tag video for my good friend Luke Treat, known otherwise as Luke is Poe, on his YouTube channel. Check him out if you haven't. He did a recent video called Scent Your State, or Scent Your State. I think he preferred the colloquial, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick with that. So today I'm gonna scent my state, or several states actually, that I've lived in. And I'm also gonna go ahead and tag some friends to go ahead and continue on with this tag chain. Who knows, maybe it'll go around to all 50 states. Maybe, that would be awesome. So Tennessee Frag heads Josh and Jonesy, and then of course my good friend that you may not have heard of, Ashton from Gent Sense. I'll go ahead and post a link above just to, I want to kind of give him some street cred because he's not, he's not been in the game for very long. A lot of people don't know him, so And anyway, also Fraggy Cold Medina, and also my good friend Cam from Carolina Fragrances. When we return, I'm gonna scent the states that I've lived in, some of them, that and more, so stay tuned. Hey guys, and welcome back. Right up front, I've lived in a lot of places, so I can't actually scent every state that I've lived in. I was a Navy brat. My father was in the Navy, so everywhere there was a port, we pretty much ended up. However, there are a few states, actually 4 that I'm gonna reference today, that I have good enough memories associated with them, at least to bind them to a particular fragrance. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm gonna do this chronologically. Back when I was born, actually, I am gonna reference the state that I was born in because it was Long Beach, California. In fact, when I was born there, of course, my father was stationed there in the Navy. That's what we were doing there. But before I was old enough to talk, they decided to move because they said that there were actually, the pollution was so bad that there were smog warnings and they didn't want to raise their child in a place like that. So they uprooted us and moved us somewhere else. But for many years, I've had kind of a long-term curiosity about Long Beach and how it's changed over the years. And because it has changed so much, it's being represented today by Calvin Klein's Contradiction. Now, there's many reasons that I'm using Contradiction. First of all, I didn't like this fragrance when I first smelled it. When I first bought it, it was a blind buy. I was like, it was very much off-putting to me. And the odd thing about it, it's not an off-putting fragrance. So there was something about this that I didn't really like. It actually had to grow on me. The reason it makes me think of Long Beach, California in general, is that California is like the sunshine state. It's bright and sunny, and yet my parents moved from there because of pollution. So therein lies the contradiction. Supposedly a beautiful state, there's pollution everywhere. But I think it's a lot better now that actually they've redone the entire town, but it's a lot more open and a lot more tenable than it was when I was a babe. So, Contradiction for men. Now, if you like soapy fragrances similar to Perry Ellis 360 or even Prada L'Homme, both of which in my book are much better than this fragrance, this is very similar to that though. It's got a very clean, almost like clean linen smell, semi-soapy. It features notes of lemon, lime, orange, lavender, nutmeg, ebony wood, vetiver, just to name a few. And cost-wise, this is extremely affordable. You can get a 100 ml bottle for less than 25 bucks, which is pretty awesome. I actually lived in a couple places in Louisiana. We lived in a house on stilts with huge mosquitoes around in a place called Slidell, Louisiana, in the marshes. And then we lived in a wonderful suburb of New Orleans. So this is dedicated to Louisiana. have such good memories of sitting on my front porch with my best friend eating crab legs and watermelon. We had a circuit that we would make to all the restaurants in the area. We'd go to the back door, knock, they'd come, they'd bring us crab legs for days and freshly sliced watermelon, and we would rush back to either his house or my house, and we'd sit there, snap crab legs and spit watermelon seeds all day long. Halcyon days. And in fact, the fragrance that makes me think of that most has a watermelon note in it, and that is L1212 Noir by Lacoste. Now, some people say L1212, I say L1212 because that's what the box says. Whatever way you want to feel you want to say it, this is Louisiana's fragrance to me. Not only does it have a watermelon note, but it also has red berries, it's very fruity, it's got pineapple, basil, lemon, verbena, lavender, dark chocolate, which is owing to the Noir, coumarin, cashmerein, and patchouli. This is a really neat, underrated fragrance. Not a lot of people talk about this. The problem is the performance isn't wonderful. But you know what? I didn't live in New Orleans, but for 3 to 4 years, Louisiana as a whole. So didn't live there long. This doesn't last super long. You see the correlation there? That's why I thought of this fragrance. So the performance isn't tremendous, but while it is on you, it is wonderful. And it does remind me of those halcyon days in Louisiana. Noir could be picked up for just over 30 bucks. Speaking of money, this fragrance makes me think of old money in Miami, Florida. My aunt, which is my mother's sister on my mother's side, she lives in Miami, and we would actually go visit her off and on a lot. We ended up living there for several years in her house, and I'll never forget the address, 74 Southwest 18th Terrace. Beautiful place, beautiful area. It was really close to Cocoa Walk, which is the outdoor mall there. Remember taking rickshaw rides on the weekends. You've got a couple of different groups. You've got the young clubbing group, and then you've got the snowbirds that always come there when it's wintertime in their home state. So it's very eclectic, and that's why Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme Intenso. Intenso features notes of, well, there's aquatic notes in it, there's basil, there's tagetes, geranium, lavender, tobacco, sandalwood, cypress, just to name a few. There's a lot of really good notes in this that go into making it because it's so eclectic in Florida, and because the weather is always nice, this smells like a finely manicured snowbird gated community looks like old money. I don't mean physical old money smells. I mean the people who are old enough to have acquired old money. Intenso is perfect for office, school, work, casual or semi-formal, spring, summer, fall. It's got some darker notes in it, so it's good for cooler weather, just as it's good for, it's very versatile. So you can pretty much wear it in any situation. Can be a signature fragrance. Very much reminds me of the state of Florida. A state that no matter where I go, I always seem to come back and end up in Tennessee. There's something about the mountains, you know, the greenery, the Appalachian Trail. And in fact, where I live in the Tri-Cities, which is called Johnson City, there's Johnson City, Kingsport, and Bristol. In fact, several years ago, Johnson City was considered in the top 5 cities you would want to live in if you wanted to kind of go somewhere to settle down, simply because there was a good economy in terms of jobs, the cost of living is good, crime rate is good, so lots of positive things about this area. And because of, however, the outdoor living aspect, because I love kayaking, I love hiking, I love camping, anything with an ing on the end of it, I think of woods. So a fragrance that makes me think of Tennessee the most is an extremely woody, powerful fragrance that is Kenneth Cole's signature. Now you might think, well, why didn't you pick an orange fragrance, like an orange, Go Big Orange, right? This is kind of orange, right? I think of Tennessee in terms of the nature. I love when the trees change. The trees are beautiful. The performance of signature is great. It's such a deeply woody fragrance. From the nose of Frank Vogel as well, an awesome master perfumist. And again, it's so woody. It features notes of like amber, guaiac wood, papyrus, And there's a surprise appearance of espresso in here as well. And that coffee or espresso note really is kind of a pick-me-up. And that's what makes it lift off the skin and last so long. This has a good 10 hours longevity, so it is a beast, it's a banger. Performs so well, and it's perfect for fall going into winter because of its kind of a woody essence, similar to like Bulgari Man wood essence, kind of a similar fragrance. But this kind of reminds me of chalking wood into a fire. It's got a little bit more of a dank, dark, woody, kind of smoky sensation to it that makes it perfect for cooler weather, but also can be worn in summer. So it's a great spring and summer fragrance as well because it's, again, woody masculine, which is appropriate for almost any season. But again, it reminds me of Tennessee. Well guys, that's it for my Scent Yo state. I hope that you enjoyed my selections for each state that I lived in. Again, I'll go over them really quickly. Let's see, for Tennessee, I had Kenneth Cole Signature. For Louisiana, I had L1212 Noir from Lacoste. California, I had Calvin Klein's Contradiction. And for Florida, Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme Intenso. If you haven't had a chance yet to get in on my latest giveaway, which I did on the Go Green video that I dropped yesterday, make sure to check that out. Again, on the thumbnail it says Go Green. Go straight to that video. In the comments section, all you're gonna do is put a number. That number is gonna be how long you've been interested in men's fragrance. Whether it's collecting or wearing or whatever the case may be. If it's years, put years. If it's only a few months, put that amount of time. If it's a few weeks or a few days, put that. Again, don't have to put a story or your name, just put how long, just a number, how long you've been enjoying men's fragrance. And that will enter you to win Ermenegildo Zegna's Uomo, which is a wonderfully green spring and summer fragrance, a little 30 ml bottle that you can take with you everywhere. Lastly, I want to reiterate the tag again, just so you guys don't forget. We've got Tennessee Frag Heads, Carolina Fragrance, Gent Scents, and Fraggy Cold Medina. So 4 guys that I have tagged in Scent Yo state. Thank you again so much for stopping by and watching. As always, thank you so much for your support. I'm Tommy with Studio Scents, and I'll see you next time.